Hi guys, thanks for joining me today. So following on from my last video where I was showing you guys all the dresses and jumpsuits that I've made in the last 6 months, today is a turn for all these separate. So that's all the tops and blouses and all the bottoms, trousers, etc. to share with you guys today. So the first thing I've got to share with you guys today is what I'm wearing at the moment. So I will stand up and give you a proper twirl so you can see what it looks like. So this is the Vali blouse from pattern Fantastique. So this pattern comes as a blouse and as a dress, so you can make this full length if you wanted to and with pockets. I decided to just make the blouse version first because I was a little concerned about how voluminous it would be on me. Yes, even I was concerned, and that's saying something because I love a voluminous pattern, don't I? As you can see from my past history of very big dresses. But looking at the images that were present on the website, I was just a little concerned about how that might work for myself. So I thought I'd start with the blouse first and then take things from there. So I actually really like the pattern. It's got a kind of a narrow yoke on the top, so you can see where that finishes on me. I've not made any adjustments to it, so the yoke comes up to here. I think on a more broad-shouldered person that would seem even more exaggerated, but it is meant to be quite small in this area here, and then have the big kind of sleeve coming from there, which is where you get all your ease built into that. It has two options for the neckline. I chose to make the lower option, which has an extra kind of slit into the bodice of the front bodice, sorry. Otherwise, you can make it so that this isn't there and it closes up like this. The lower option has two sets of ties like so, and the shorter option just has the tie at the neck. The neckline is finished with a facing, although I do think that in my case with this fabric that I was using, if I had fully lined it, I think it might have looked that little bit better, that little bit neater, but you know, hindsight's 2020. It's fine as it is. So, I mean, in terms of the general shape of it, you can see kind of the width and how much kind of room there is with this. I'm not sure I'm going to like it as a dress, so I don't think I'm going to make a longer version of it. I think as a blouse it works, especially as you can imagine it's kind of tucked in. I've worn it loose just so you can get an idea of kind of the length and shape of it, but I would probably wear this tucked in. It kind of has a bit of a peasanty blouse, boho-y kind of feel to it in that looseness, and I do like how it looks. I like the really exaggerated sleeve in it. Now, if anyone's read my blog post on it, you'll know that I wasn't a huge fan of the construction of this pattern. I find the pattern instructions overly complicated for what it is. In the end, I had a scan through the instructions, gathered what I need to information-wise, and then decided just to do my own thing in terms of getting it together. And you know what? It worked. It's one of those things with pattern instructions is that I don't think it's a necessity to follow every single thing to the letter to achieve the same result. There's more than one way to do a lot of those things. So whatever you're comfortable with, guys, you do you. As I said, I'll give you a proper twirl around and you can see what this looks like all the way. So I've used a poly cotton voile, or voile, depending on how you like to say that word, that I've had in the stash for ages. I actually think I got it in Malaysia like quite a long time ago and had planned to make some sort of blousey thing with it and never got around to doing it. I rediscovered it recently when I was reorganising some of my stash, and it was kind of serendipitous because I think it was perfect for this. It's got that lightness and that kind of bounciness that works really well with a gathered garments, and it's got that slight, very slight sheerness to it, which just gives it that really lovely quality, that kind of diaphanous quality that I really like, and for these loose fit garments. So will I make it again? Maybe, if I get the right fabric for it, if I, you know, something that matches up well with this. I think that this style of top is one that's kind of really on trend at the moment in terms of that kind of cottage decor aesthetic that people seem to really like, that kind of oversized, voluminous, gathered look that I have loved for the past year or two. So I don't see that going away anytime soon, at least not for myself. So yeah, there'll probably be opportunity to use this again, although I am not sure when that might be. So this next top is the Orchy Day Blouse from Denim. I was gifted this pattern and fabric in exchange for a review of the pattern, and I've tried to be as honest as I can do with that review. It's a lovely top. It also comes as a dress version as well, by the way, where instead of this kind of peplum ruffle, you can have like a nice gathered A-line skirt. But the other kind of top part of the pattern is the same regardless of whether it's the top or the dress. So it's kind of got that kind of vintage retro style, kind of a bit 1940s in my opinion. Gathers on the top up here, gathers under the bust, and kind of a puffed sleeve here, finishing with elastic at the cuff here. The front is interesting. I've never sewn anything like this before, where we use this, what we call a rat tail cord, to create little loops like what you'd get on the back of wedding dresses and things like that. So that was weird and fiddly, and I'm not sure if I want to do that again, but it's nice to know that I've got that skill in my wheelhouse now. So you have all these kind of little loops down here, and then finish with these shanked buttons on the front here. I've used a Atelier Brunette viscose for this, which I thought was a really lovely kind of fun print to pair together with quite a retro pattern. The top is fully lined for the bodice, front and back, though the sleeves are obviously not lined there. It's a weirdly short pattern. I'm short. I did not shorten this, and you can see kind of how short that is coming up on me. I think that if you don't like a short top, don't make the top, just don't do it. And if you like the style, just make the dress version. It sits really nicely kind of where my natural waist would do, but it is a look, and I think that that's going to kind of narrow the field in terms of who this is for, you know, and the kind of person that would wear this, I think is more niche than a lot of their other patterns that they make. I hope that doesn't sound too harsh. I do like it. It is lovely. It looks great. I don't wear this style very much, and I think that that's why I'm more critical of it. But yeah, it's a look. You know what, you tell me what you think about it down below. I think it's one of those things that some people will love and other people will absolutely hate. Yeah, a bit of Marmite, this blouse, I think. So this is the Roseanne blouse from Fibre Mood, which I feel like I made an absolute age ago. I distinctly remember when I took photos for the blog, I was standing in the snow for it. So yeah, quite a change from the sunny weather we've been having recently, eh? So this blouse is an interesting one in terms of the kind of shape and style of it. And I think that's what drew me to it. It's essentially a shirt. It's got a button front, although you can just pull it over your head. It is that loose. It's got this kind of angled line at the front where the gathers come from, which I thought was really interesting. So it kind of cuts off across the bust, and then that carries on around the back like so. And then kind of a big frill slash peplum type thing around all of that, and then again with the sleeve again cut off just above the elbow, and then a big frill from there as well. I really should shorten this actually, it's a little bit uncomfortably long, for another day though perhaps. It's an interesting shape. It's not one that I've necessarily seen before, at least with the style lines as it was, and I thought it would be definitely worth a go in terms of trying this one out. I will give you a twirl, you can see what it looks like all the way around. I'll get my hair out the way though properly. I'll give you a proper swish so you can see how big this gets. So yeah, it's a really fun shape. I think that, you know, this kind of look is great if you want to have something that's very loose fitted but kind of still quite fitted across the shoulder. But if you're, you know, concerned about the tummy area, things like that, then this is a great way of covering all of that up. I always think that this would be my, you know, big lunch, big dinner kind of shirt if that was something that I was worried about. I actually think it's quite flattering in terms of the shape, just because I think I quite like this part of me. But, you know, each to your own in terms of what you like and don't like. I'm just talking about myself with all of this. The fabric I use in this is a cupro that I got from So Me Sunshine, which is originally a Pigeon wishes fabric. The print, annoyingly, is one that is printed on. When it comes to things like grids and plaids and things like that, things are much easier when it is yarn dyed, i.e. the actual threads are the colours that the kind of print is, as opposed to someone just kind of painting ink onto the surface. And that is because things just get off grain really quickly, and it's really hard to then kind of cut and pattern match and things like that. I think I did a pretty reasonable job pattern matching. Like, look at that. For me, this is really good. I put like reasonable amount of effort into it. I'm not usually someone who cares hugely if patterns are a little bit off. I'll try a reasonable amount, but I won't be there for hours trying to match up every single stripe or anything like that, just because, you know, life is too short and I'd rather just wear the thing. And no one but me is likely to notice those tiny imperfections. But I actually think I did a pretty reasonable job with my pattern matching for once, so pat on my own back before that. It definitely doesn't happen that often. So this is a fun outfit combo where I've made both top and bottom. The top is a very recent make. This is the Fibre Mood Belle blouse, which I've made out of a broderie anglaise for the bodice and just a cotton lawn for the kind of frilled sleeve thing going on. It's from the most recent issue of Fibre Mood, so the one that was out about a month or so ago, and is their kind of summer pattern edition. And I thought that this blouse was just a lot of fun. It looked really cute, and I thought that the kind of big frilled sleeve would just go with lots of things. The fabric that I use, as I said, is the bodice is this broderie anglaise, which I actually just got a very small remnant piece of. I really liked the embroidery on it, and I really liked the edge on it as well, so I thought that this would be a really nice top to kind of put that together and make the full use out of that little bit of fabric that I did get, and that was originally from So Me Sunshine as well, by the way. The sleeve is bigger than I expected from what I've seen of other makers that have made it. You have the option of doing 1 or 2 layers of the sleeve, so you can either just do it with the kind of bigger section, which is just underneath, or have both the small and the big section as well. I kind of like it, but I think I need to get used to kind of having something here that looks and feels a bit like an armband. It's an interesting construction of this top as well, because because the frill goes so low here, there's an extra side panel that you need to kind of insert on here as well. So for people who are worried about things that are showing bras and things but like this style, this one is the top for you, because you have none of that worry about that kind of side boob bra issue that a lot of other kind of deep armholes might get. And so I managed to just use the kind of embroidered edge of the fabric all the way around, so you can see that around the back as well. And this top just finishes with just a keyhole neck and a button at the very top too. It's very cute, it's very sweet, it's very summer. I think that this would be a really fun top to do like some colour blocking and things in, having the frills of different colours and the bodice in a different colour, for example, and I think that could be a lot of fun as well. So what I'm wearing with this blouse is these lovely denim shorts. So these were made using the Dawn pattern from Nielsen. I've made the Dawn jeans once before. I made the tapered leg version of those, and whilst I think that they actually looked pretty good, I found them quite uncomfortable to be in. So I don't really wear those jeans very much at all. That being said, I actually did like the general shape of the pattern, so I thought I'd try again, but to make some shorts because I was in dire need of some summer shorts. So I've used a piece of selvage denim that I got from the new craft house. We're at the very, very early days of them being a fabric store, so this was quite a while ago now. This lovely kind of light to mid blue denim wash. I actually haven't hemmed these shorts. They came out quite long, so I ended up just rolling up the edges, and I was quite happy with how that looked, so I left it. I made quite a big size from what I remember. Did I make a 14, I want to say? And with the aim of then, if I needed to kind of cinch things in, I could do. They actually came out fitting quite well, although I did put a trick in this that would allow me to alter the sizing more easily should I need to, and that was to add a centre seam onto the waistband and to sew those up, the centre back in one piece. I finished the waistband on one leg, finished the waistband on the other leg, and then sewed the waistband and the centre back seam of the short together in one piece. And that, in theory, will allow me to kind of take things in and out quickly. Yes, it's a bit of a dirty hack, and no, it is not going to be the way to kind of get things perfectly fitted, but I think it'll give me the most life out of the shorts, and that's really what I was going for with this. So I'll show you kind of what that looks like here. So you can just about see that centre back seam right here, and I've got the belt loop over the top, so you can't really see that there anyway. I really like how these turned out. They aren't perfect by any means. I think that I probably could have taken them in a little bit more, but I'm always worried with denim, especially rigid denim, about making things too fitted and how comfortable I'm going to be in them, because at the end of the day, I don't want them to just look good standing. I want to be comfortable moving around, sitting down, etc., to be able to use them as you want to use shorts, right? So anyway, really happy with how they turned out. It does make me feel a bit more comfortable going in and making the full length jean once again. So this uses the wide leg jean as opposed to the tapered leg that I've made previously, and I think that that's going to give me much more ease around the thigh and just in general be a bit more comfortable. I may also just try to make it with a stretch denim instead of a rigid denim as well. I think that might do the trick. Not that that pattern is designed for stretch, but sometimes you just need that little bit of ease. I'll give you a proper twirl all the way around so you can see both top and bottom together, in fact. So this next thing that I'm showing you today is the Winslow Qlots from Helen's closet. I think this was one of her first patterns actually to release. It's been around for quite a long time. I'm pretty sure most people have made it. I've always been a bit wary about culottes like this in terms of the shaping of them and the voluminousness of the pattern and how much volume there is in this area here, just because it's not something that I necessarily want to add lots of volume to. That being said, I kind of wanted to make a nice dressy culotte with this fabric, so I thought, you know what, let's just go for it, let's see what it looks like. And actually I'm quite happy with how they turned out. It's super swishy, it's got loads of kind of room. It basically looks like a kind of big pleated skirt here. It's a really kind of wide leg pattern, as you can see. It's a really simple shape, and then it's just kind of brought in with deep pleats on both the front and the back. That means that things like fitting is really easy, because actually the only place you need to fit it is at the waist, like so. And then it's finished with a centre back seam, and it's got some side seam pockets in it as well. So give you an idea of what that looks like all the way around. I only have one pet peeve with this pattern in particular, and that is that the waistband is straight, okay? So you can see what's happening with that is that the lower half of the waistband, lower point, sits well against the skin, but I'm not straight here. I've got a nice curve. So it's got this kind of bit of excess towards the top there, and I would have much preferred to have a curved waistband. In fact, I can almost just pinch out the kind of little triangle space that I would need to have removed to get that sitting against my body well. And I think that there will probably be quite a lot of people in a similar situation to me with this. Curving waistbands is super easy. You just need to curve it, so make little snips into the waistband pattern piece and just curve it around however much you wish to curve it. The other alternative, if you wanted to shape this, would just be to put a side seam in it and then just take it in, so that instead of it being straight, you're curving it around as you're doing that. And those are kind of easy kind of fixes. As is, I'll still wear it. I might go in to kind of pinch something out here at some point in the future. Is it enough to kind of bother you? You'd probably buy it from the shops like this and not think twice about it. I know we are much more of a perfectionist when we're making it ourselves, but I'm really trying to ease myself back from that, so I don't, you know, put myself off wearing things that are perfectly wearable. So this is the first of 2 pairs of dungarees for me to share with you today. This is the Jenny overalls from Closet Core Patterns. It's a pattern that I've actually had in my stash for a really long time actually. I bought it ages ago, printed it off, traced it, got it ready to cut into my fabric, and then I kind of went off the fabric that I was using. I had planned to do it in this off-white corduroy with these flecks in it, and then decided that actually white dungarees is probably not the best idea. And then when So Me Sunshine asked if I would like to contribute to their blog and I could have a pic of any of the fabrics on their website, I decided to go with this gorgeous caramel jumbo cord, which I thought would work perfectly for those dungarees. So this is a much more fitted dungaree than what I'm used to making. It can be a trouser or a short, as well as the overall, i.e. with the bib and the straps on there. So it would naturally have a much more fitted waist because it has to be able to be worn as a trouser as well. It's got a lovely wide leg and these slash pockets in there. It's also got these kind of slash pockets on the front as well, which is kind of weird in that it doesn't allow you then to use the whole of the pocket, which is what I'm used to. You can use kind of half on each side. But that is a weird pet peeve of mine. That's it, okay? In general, I really like how they sit. This is one of the only patterns that I've ever thought came up slightly too high on me. So I've not changed the rise on this. And you can see that it's coming up quite high up here. It feels like I maybe could have taken it down like ½ centimetre or so. The reason why I'm so surprised is that my distance from my natural waist down to like my hip, like my widest point, is probably longer than average for someone of my height. And I'm usually that person that has to add length to the rise to get it to hit my natural waist. So I do wonder what kind of someone who's shorter in this area feels about this pattern and how much they might have had to change to that actually. Anyway, I really love how this turned out. The top part is not lined, which I thought was quite odd for a bib. Normally these style of bibs in other patterns that I've made similarly are all fully lined. Again, just another thing that's just a mild pet peeve of my own, and frankly I could have lined it myself if I really was that bothered by it, but clearly I wasn't. Yeah, I really like these. I wouldn't say that they're the most comfortable pair of dungarees that I've ever owned, although I do think they look excellent. I love that whole 70s vibe that this gives you. The combination of the dungaree and that brown cord just screams 70s to me. They are a little bit long on me as they are at the moment. I would prefer them to be just that touch shorter and to hit just at the kind of long calf length, as opposed to where it is, which is just above ankle. Some people might think that's the same thing, but it isn't. At least not to me anyway. But I can see this being something that I do wear for years to come. In fact, I think that it's a really good cross-seasonal thing as well. So this could very easily be, you know, the spring, autumn, winter item that I can wear lots and lots and lots. So the second pair of dungarees that I'm showing you is one that is quite popular. It's the Heyday dungarees from Roseanne Blouse, previously known as Made by Jack's Mum. And you know, I just kept seeing loads of people making them, wearing them and loving them, that I thought it would be worth giving a go, especially as when Roseanne Blouse changed their name, they had a massive store-wide discount. So I thought, you know what, why not? Let's help a small business and try something new. To be honest, this is one of my least favourite dungarees patterns that I've tried. It is very similar in style to the Hello Workshop ones I've made before, the Heyday dungarees, except I like those a lot more. I've made that dungaree pattern twice already. And I think that, I don't know what it is about the shape of it, but it just is much more suited to my body and is much more comfortable on me. Like, I found that the kind of length of this, even here, you can see kind of how long it is in the body, and this is after I've taken it up quite a bit there. And the length of them is just ridiculous on these. They are supposed to be extra long so that you can then roll them up and for that to be the style, but they were like crazy long. I ended up chopping off like 20 centimeters or something off the length, and I can still roll them up. These are also designed to kind of, in theory, so that you don't have to undo the straps in order to take them off. And actually the gap in this is less so than on other dungarees that I've made. So yeah, it's one of those things where I have some mixed feelings about them. I think that with some work I could get this to fit and look how I would want it to, but at the same time I could also just use the other dungaree pattern that I have that is extremely similar and that I know that I already like. This does teach me a lesson about trying patterns that are very similar to things that I already have, and you know, knowing that maybe new isn't always better. I mean, I do like them enough that I will keep wearing them. The fabric that I use from this is a cotton canvas that I got from Sherwood Fabrics, which is actually quite a lovely weight for a summer dungaree. It's that little bit lighter than denim, but feels kind of strong and sturdy, like you can go for, you know, long walks in the countryside and like be gardening and stuff in them, and there'd be a good choice for that. But yeah, this, I mean, I would need to take off like another 3 centimeters in the body length. I would want to take down the bib length completely. Yeah, there's just so many changes that I would need to make to these to really get them comfortable. I'll give you a twirl so you can see what they look like all the way around though. So they've got these long ties, which I know that which I do like with the dungaree anyway, and they're kind of straight back across and everything. So I mean, there were lots of things that should have been good, but yeah, it just didn't quite work for me, I'm afraid. So thanks for joining me today. I hope you found this even just a little bit interesting. I've actually still got a few more things to share with you with what I've been making over the past 6 months, so you've still got a few more of these videos to go. In the meantime, have a think. If there's anything that you want me to make a video on, anything that you want me to talk about, tutorials, anything like that, just leave me a comment below and I will do my very best to accommodate you. Until next time guys, bye now.